Hello my adorable little fans, I am Anuki Titara and you're watching Anuki TV. This is a Company of Heroes cast. It's a 2v2 on Wolfheze and we're going to go straight into the game because I know you as a viewer, just like me when I once was a viewer. I like to watch games, I don't like to lollygag about for about 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 minutes, just talking about general stuff when the game could be underway, and that is exactly what's going on right now. We can see the very early steps, the baby steps of the game happening, whilst we just generally introduce the players and talk about random crap if we have time. Generally I don't, because stuff always happens. We can see introducing our first player is Finndu, playing as the Blue. And I won't be switching cameras a lot, or at all, because I like to stick with the same colours so I know who is who instantly. And our Blue Finndu teammates for today in the purple is American 3K. Well observed, you are American, double American. Not sure where the 3K comes from though. Already early engagements, very, very early engagements happening between the pioneers in this building and the engineers. And the engineers are doing the good thing and just attacking from behind the kegs where they cannot be attacked. So let's introduce the opponent, the Wehrmacht. I can say it properly, I don't know where this Vermont problem came from. All I can think of is Monte Cristo, the development company for the game Silverfall. I don't know. So anyway, we have Super Silver Reloaded and his teammate Melee Reloaded. Melee, if you're French. But we're not French, we're English, so it's melee. God damn it, if it's spelled like that, it's said like that, alright? Sticking with it. Melee Reloaded. People confuse me with their way of pronunciations. Early engagement still continuing with the pioneers hopping in and out of the building, in, out, in, out. Barbed wire going down already, wow. We do have pyro spamming going on by Melee Reloaded. Already 6 pioneers out. They do manage to get, well, the riflemen and the engineers from American 3K and Finndu do manage to get this building out of lockdown. Maybe not going to see a machine gunner in there if they can get in it and just withheld any Wehrmacht machine gun from moving in. See, I can do it. I bloody well can do it. I'm so happy with myself now. More barbed wire continues going down. Silver Reloaded and Melee Reloaded. Confused of how I should say that. More tank traps going down, locking down this north side of the map almost. In fact, very weird places. Just in the appropriate places where infantry can come through, but for now the tank traps are going back down here. That will withheld M8 rushes basically, and Shermans and Wolverines and all that lovely stuff. But for now, the Riflemen and the engineers from Finndu are cutting their way through this barbed wire and coming in from this hole here. We do have a Jeep up. So maybe Finndu is expecting some sort of sniper out early, or just wants to do some good flanking. We have some mines going down here from Super Silver, and the Pioneers from Melee is engaging this blob tactics stuff with the machine gun back here just supporting. Excellent coverage there from the machine gun. Very long range, but effective nonetheless. The mines go off, killing some engineers by the looks of it, and a rifleman. He's down on all fours. Wow, that's cool animations there. He needs to get back up. Maybe we can see a medic station just somewhere in the middle later on, because that would be an awesome thing to do. Medic stations rock. Very early on in the game, if you can get them up, they're going to be super effective. Later on in the game, they're going to give you... You know, I've played games where I get like 8 squads of riflemen just for free. I'm like, yeah, wow, where did all these riflemen squads come from? It's just so... You just don't notice it until like you do a replay and you're just like, wow, I lost so much, but because I had that medic station up, I just gained so much as well. But do remember that you need veterancy as well as the Americans. But for now, the tank trapping and the barbed wiring continues. This is going to have some extreme ramifications later on in the game, unless the Riflemen work closely side by side with the engineers to get rid of all these engineers and pioneers, rather, building the tank traps. If they get these tank traps up, it's going to be kind of hard to bring in any vehicles to the field for the Americans, unless they get like a crocodile or paratroopers with satchel charges to blow holes into the tank traps. You know, it's just a disadvantage at the moment for them. Anyway, rifleman squad here by themselves. The engineers, the pioneers rather. God damn it, they're the same thing. Supported by nothing. They're just pioneers by themselves. Oh no, we do get a half-track coming up here as well. But the Jeep, half-track, Jeep half-track. I think the half-track's going to win this one if it comes to that. But the Jeep's remaining back there for the time being. The rifleman not doing the greatest thing, just moving straight up close to that half-track. I guess they wanted to get to the side of it where the half-track couldn't fire. But instead they end up running into the line of sight of the MG42. It's gonna hurt. Wow, mines coming down here. Are we expecting some train from the Allies? Maybe some reinforcements? No, I'm not sure we are. Sniper out here for American 3K. As he covers the central ground, needs to look out though. This half-track doesn't have stealth detecting capabilities unless you fire at it. You stupid sniper! Ah, god damn it, don't do that. Rifleman moves in, mortar's already firing. But nothing is really going to take out that half-track. We could do with a sticky bomb this early in the game, but it isn't that much of a threat. You know, it doesn't do that much damage, in all honesty. They can just deal with that. They can kind of ignore that until they get AT guns. It's just not enough of a problem to go straight for sticky bombs. You're going to cause yourself more of a problem if you go to sticky bombs, and then you need sticky bombs, or you need bars rather, or something later on to deal with the mass amount of infantry. You know, deal with the biggest problem on the field rather than the smallest problems. You can just completely ignore them and take out everything else on the field. At least that's what I would do. You know, I'm no pro. In fact, I did play a game just before this game because I just wanted to play. It's simple as that. If you want to play a game, you can play the game. Why do I have to explain this? I don't know. But I couldn't find it in the game, so I ended up joining a 4v4 Annihilation game. Yeah, I know, God forbid that, because that's just not how the game should be played. But I couldn't find a decent server. It was just full of laggers and people with modern performance bars. So I joined this game, and the game was full, and everyone was like, "Oh, Kikanuki, he's got no rank," because I've made a new account, because I just wanted to make a new account. So, you know, that's that. But everyone wanted to kick me, and my whole entire American team left. And then we got some brand new players, and I just kicked the ass of everybody. And I was like, yeah, I was so happy with myself. And then I was like, but now I can't like show those guys how well I did. And it made me sad because I just wanted to show them how much of an asshole they were. But anyway, stealing a machine gun team, where is this voice coming from? Running into a mine up there? Oh, poor guys. Let's get back into commentating this game rather than trying to thrust my EP into people's faces with my glorious victory over those three guys, which are complete noobs, because seriously, you can't get any lower than playing Annihilation in 4v4 in this game. Don't do it. Play Victory Point, please. It just offers much better battles in terms of how the game ends up playing. If you play Annihilation, it usually ends up Vet-free Panthers and Ostwinds, or the American team knowing what they're doing and just destroying you before you get Vet-free and Ostwinds, because that's all you can ever do is the Warlock. I don't know why people do it. But anyway, double half-track, this is interesting. Usually when you get a half-track, you use it to get reinforcements out, but you can see Melee Reloaded hasn't really got an infantry force to do that, so what's he doing here? I'm not entirely sure. Are we going to see double Stukas really fast? I'm not sure if you can get to that phase quickly enough for it to be effective, let alone have the munitions to do that. So I'm not sure. Maybe we're going to see some Grenadiers come out a little later, but it seems a bit backwards to get the half-tracks before you get the Grenadiers. Anyway, we do have a medic bunker down. Maybe he's just waiting to get some Grenadiers out of this and use that instead, rather than just buy the Grenadiers up front. I've not seen this done before, so you're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, just so much tank traps around, so many barbed wires. On the north side, let's check up there as well. It doesn't look like that's had too much done to it, just tank traps around this area. So yeah, it's kind of mostly locked down. I'm not sure if there's any gaps you can come in. You can definitely come in through here, but it's useless guiding your opponents through this area if there's nothing to take it out, and that's exactly what we don't have at the moment. As the Wehrmacht, they just double snipers. There's no anti-vehicle here at all. There is an anti-tank gun here, but that's down here. We need something up north. But we'll see. Let's Let's not underestimate our opponents. Never ever underestimate the opponent. Screwing that one major-tastically. Paratroopers out here for American 3K. See, Paratroopers, I can say. I like Paratroopers. I was airborne in Company of Heroes Online, and I pretty much almost always go airborne in team games. Purely because I feel most comfortable with dealing with vehicles or infantry. You know, I can deal with infantry just with my rifleman play, and I can deal with tanks with my recoilless rifles and AT guns on the field. That's not a problem at all for me. But, you know, there's many ways you can counter stuff on this game, and that's why it's an awesome game. Just like Men of War is, there's so many ways you can counter stuff in Men of War as well, but you play tactically, and that's what we like. We like tactics. That's why we play these sorts of games, and that's why we're watching these players receiving a mortar to the top of the skull, but not too fussed about that. We can escape from there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Mortars receiving their Vet 1 triage center. Hello. We have that good old Harlequin spotted bug where you just randomly do that on the map and it ends up coming up with the triage center. Flaming waffle, quadruple flaming waffles. Oh god, half track comes in, terminating these riflemen. Oh no, this building is going. Oh, I'm having flashbacks of when it was hot yesterday. It wasn't hot, I tell a lie. It was very cold. In fact, in the last 40 hours, I think I've slept 32 hours. Something very crazy like that. The paratroopers with a recoilless rifle now come in, interrupting my story about how much I've slept recently, doing some half damage, 50% damage onto this half track, but they've still got another one to deal with. And remember, paratroopers are fleshy and have souls too. They burn as well. So it's kind of a double-ended sword there. It's gonna hurt everybody. Just so much casualties everywhere. Hopefully we do have a medic station up here. Yeah, we do have a medic station. Good call. Maybe see some medics coming in here. I think no. Only one guy there looks like he can be picked up. Sniper running down here. 10 kills already for Super Silver Reloaded, inflicting more casualties. Doing the higher priority targeting on the paratroopers. Not that there is any other targets around here. We do have some minesweepers from Finndu as well. A good sign of a good player is always the minesweeper, as almost everyone says, I believe. But we kind of have, for the most part, just a big clump of stuff here. Mostly not riflemen, strangely enough, and a big clump of stuff here. Again, not even standard infantry here. I see no Volks around. There we are. There's some Volks. They're going to be getting some reinforcements from the bunker, maybe, if we have a defensive player. Which I don't think we do at the moment, so we're not going to see that. Very simple concept, isn't it? Double half-track. They're getting some repairs, or receiving repairs after the Puma. Strangely enough, no one picked up on how I said that, but anyway. I'm sure it is Puma, not Puma, but I like Puma because... why not? Why not Puma? It's... well, we saw a satchel charge go off there. Awesome from the paratroopers. Not enough damage to kill it, but so close. If that gets repaired, though, that's just a waste of 50 munitions. All they'll be really doing is just wasting some time, some precious time of the Pioneers as they repair, which otherwise would not be doing anything else. So, not a huge loss if they get that bunker back up. Now we have a lot of riflemen now moving in from the middle, from Finndu. From the middle, from Finndu, in the middle, from Finndu. There we go. Riflemen moving in, and generally being a nuisance because there's nothing here to defend at the moment. Here we go, we've got a half-track coming in, a single half-track, which would be pleasantly delightful for the riflemen to deal with, as they have no sticky bombs, and they have no bars, and they have nothing to really... oh no, they do have sticky bombs, awesome! Just what they need. They do sufficient damage just to tell that half-track to get out of there as the Puma comes up though. See, sticky bombs not going to be good enough to take out all this light armor on the field, but no matter, they had a bash at it, and now they have to retreat. They do have the victory point though, and they do have this victory point, and they don't have that victory point, but they only need 2 victory points, so they're doing good, and that's all you need, 2 victory points to win the game. Already, Finndu has decided he's going to be infantry with a howitzer shoot, as we pleasantly spotted. Already using it as well. Where's he using it? Here we go. Let's get called down onto the medic bunker. He wants that medic bunker gone. Killing a medic. Oh, poor medic, dude. Oh, limbs flying off everywhere. Oh, hello, guys. Oh, these Pack 38 dudes, not too fussed about that, however. Grenadiers, Vet 2 already, going against the Paratroopers, who are definitely outmatched. Paratroopers, I wouldn't even send them against Volk's Grenadiers, let alone Grenadiers with an LMG. Awesome. Already retreating, good call, no point taking casualties there. They do hop onto the top of this train though. They do have heavy cover as well. I'm not sure how that provides heavy cover up there. Nonetheless, they do need riflemen to come in, and riflemen with bars are the only thing that's really going to take out these Grenadiers. Vet 2 there. And we don't have the bars up, I believe. Nebelwerfer firing its shot onto this cluster of stuff. Just everything's boogled around here. I'm not sure where boogled came from either. Sherman on the field. Sherman's going to be awesome, but there is a Pack 38 around here. It can take out all this stuff, all this light armor so easily, but it does need to be alert of that pack. It's a little bit too far back. No, it is taking shots here. The tank traps are doing excellent, just telling that Sherman that it can't come any closer. And the pack just at the precise, correct distance to fire on it, so it wasn't in any potential danger. Heavy machine gun supporting the rifleman from Finndu. Awesome play here, deterring that infantry from really doing anything. We do have, maybe for the Fatherland, I can't remember which it is, ability. I do need to play Axis once more, god damn it. I will remember it. If I am right though, if it is for the Fatherland, then awesome. Which is a defensive ability where all your players, all your infantry inside your own zone receive bonuses to suppression and stuff like that. And generally, now they're going to be able to counter this. If they can just chuck some grenades on there, they don't even need to do that. They just fire on it and eliminate it that way. I do hope these riflemen don't pick up the machine gun. That's going to be a bad call if they do. They're going to lose a rifleman squad, and it's going to be expensive. They don't, but they do get the other rifleman squad to do that. That's a good call. Now these grenadiers are going to be in trouble, but there's so much just there they could easily pick off the machine gun. If they just lob a grenade, just one grenade, don't be hesitant, fire that grenade. Neville's coming down. Over in this area on the field again where all the support weaponry is. It doesn't look like we're getting much support, much synchronization between the riflemen and the support weaponry. Finndu and American 3K really need to work closely together to maximize their efficiency of their heavy weapons and their riflemen. We could be seeing smoke grenades from the mortars. That's an excellent pushing tool. Never underestimate this. People very much forget that they have this tool. And you should just remember, if just remembering you have it just makes your gameplay as allies so much better. And I realise I probably sound like a noob a lot of the time, but I'm a noob a lot of the time. So anyway, you're right on that one. I can see shadows from that Paratrooper even before he lands. I'm not sure if you saw that, but this is HD quality, 1080p. I do hope you enjoy the quality, because I certainly enjoy the quality of 1080 HD. But, you know, whatever. Double Nebelwerfer sitting back here in the base. All the way back here. Can shoot generally into the middle of the map already as we see. Middle victory point, though, is neutralized for now. Who's going to be capturing it? Doesn't look like anyone wants to really take this job. These riflemen... Right, go! No, don't reman the AT gun. You've got more important things like to reclaim this. But I suppose for now it's acceptable if a vehicle comes up. They do have a Sherman though. A Sherman is plenty capable of taking out all the light vehicles on them. Whoa! Howitzer from the infantry. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I can hear it firing. There it is. Infantry doctrine already maximized that out to get the M2 105mm howitzer firing onto the pack. Does manage to eliminate that, almost destroying the pack gun. That would be such a good thing to do right now. Would help out the Sherman's progression on this side of the map as long as they could. Yeah, they have. They already taken out some of the tank traps on this side. Not sure what with. Maybe this AT gun. It's a good call to have an AT gun on the field. That also gets rid of some of this light infantry from moving up. Not that they wanted to move up. We saw no sort of aggressive play from Melee or Super Silver. They want to play a defensive game by the looks of it. I mean, honestly, this says it all. Just the barbed wire in the tank traps. Sniper here isn't firing. He is definitely a scout sniper, just checking out what's ahead, what's coming, so they can do it. I think we had a recon or a strafing run happen there. We'll see later on in the multicam. I do hope you enjoy the multicam as well. I have to re-record the game, and you know, if the game's like an hour long, I have to watch it twice. So just enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. That's simple as that. Machine gun team still around in this vicinity, trying to fire onto these vet-free grenadiers who have increased suppression. Oh, more casualties coming down here. Back to this though, increased suppression resistance, like most things which vet up, but it looks like they're going to progress on. They're not going to take the heavy machine gun. They have no use for it because they'll lose 3 guys and they want to continue advancing. They are being aggressive now, but they are just running head first into machine guns and all kinds of stuff. They're not taking out this AT gun with grenades. Why is there no grenade play from Melee Reloaded? Oh, I would love some grenade. Maybe because he's spending all of his resources into Panzerschrecks and machine guns, which is not bad, but remember, you have to use it appropriately. And appropriately is probably how we're not going to be seeing it used. So anyway, machine gun team down here, firing onto the riflemen, but is it going to be quick enough to stop them capping this? They do need to pin them completely to stop them, which is the red flash, but the yellow flash means that they continue their job happily whilst the Puma fires on them. 9 kills for the Puma, 4 building kills. How did you do that, Puma? How did you do that? Not entirely sure why vehicles end up getting building kills, but nonetheless it's a building kill somehow that they got. Not unless it's some sort of bug with a vehicle. 3 Nebelwerfers out now? Why so many Nebels? In the last game we saw 3 or 4 Nebels come out. In this game, you know, seriously defensive play. 2 Pumas out as well for Super Silver Reloaded, which is just gonna be needing to support all these grenadiers on the field, and these grenadiers are currently pinned. The half-track though, managing to reinforce all the grenadiers, that is good. The Sherman staying alive, staying defensive as well. For now though, this middle point is still neutralized. The paratroopers coming in to try and cap it by the looks of things. Meanwhile, all these pioneers continue their repair work. I do hope you realize you can put down repair bunkers and then free up a little bit of population cap to get other stuff, which I don't think he really needs the population cap for now, but it's something to keep in mind later on in the game. If you're still packing pioneers out, you will eventually have to get them killed. Again, we're seeing For the Fatherland appear up, and the grenadiers not getting rid of the paratroopers. The paratroopers do manage to cap that, which means they are 2-1. The Americans doing very well so far to gain control of the situation, even with all the defenses in the area. The Sherman still hanging back here, supporting infantry. There goes the grenade. You can see how super effective the grenade was against the static target, which is not being microed. And just a few more bullets and the last machine gunner guy goes down. Second Grenadier team now decides that he was going to move in and then moves back because the Sherman's a bit too much for them when they don't have a Panzerschreck involved. And for the most part, it looks like the Allies did pretty well. We got more medic stations, 4 medic stations. Wow, do they want medics? That's 8 medics in total. We got to look at where all these medics are going to be in this game. They've got to be somewhere picking up casualties, but we hardly seen the riflemen advance so far. They've been, you know, pretty much hanging around on their side of the map than rather being aggressive. And usually, you know, if you go onto the forums, we'll always hear the usual comments. If you're playing Allies, then you need to be taking 75% of the map or something. You need to be very aggressive, constantly doing stuff like that. But very generally, I rarely see this happen in games. I'm more likely to see a 50-50 split. Oh god, we have artillery coming down here, and there's so much infantry in the area. He gets that retreat off. It might be a bit too late. The spread of the rockets, though, is just right for them to escape. Firestorm that was. The ground is burning. The mortar sticks around to fire its shots. It's got no kills so far. So maybe a new mortar appeared. Maybe it was the paratroopers dropping some of their wonderful stuff in their base. It doesn't look like I can see anything like that. So we'll just have to see and check for that later. Maybe on the multicam. But for now, it looks like the center of the map is being lost to the Wehrmacht. Volks with their MP40s, wonderful Volks. They work very well early on in the game when you double team them up with standard ordinary Volksgrenadiers. They, you know, you have long range and short range, and you move them in appropriately. Your long range gives support from a long range. Obviously, as your MP40s move in and close in for the kill, they do so much damage, especially when you vet them up. So, you know, if you're wanting to play some Company of Heroes after this game, maybe try that. Maybe do some things that you see these players doing. Maybe do some things that I've done and you've maybe not tried. Generally, I just hope you get back into this game, just like I did. Although I'm not stopping Men of War. No, I still like Men of War, but I also like Company of Heroes. I like the arcade stuff, like reinforcing and all the crazy gibberish stuff that you can do, and the artillery, and how you generally use units together with each other. You can see a lot more flanking as well, and some awesome firefights too. Now, Grenadiers, again, not supported by much. We don't have anything really other than this half-track, and the half-track needs to be very on alert because of this Sherman. We do have a Panzer IV coming up. Would be an excellent match for the Sherman. It's on so low health. With just a few more shots, the pack is already firing on it. And the Riflemen, they don't have anything to really get rid of this pack. If only we had some grenades up, we could lob it on, but they're going to throw stickies onto the Panzer IV and damage its engine. Again, collision between these two players, and just so many casualties with neither side really getting a definitive win. Both retreating now because of the artillery. But the Finndu, he first retreated, and then the artillery came in, and then melee retreated. But the victory point is again captured, most likely by his teammate American 3K, because that's my excellent detective work. I just predict who's done what. Puma with 22 kills and 6 building kills. Well done with the micro on there, and we do have a hyper beam cannon, Flak 36, which might be able to get a good shot off on any airborne vehicles, the planes which fly across, but usually they're too slow. Double Fleming Waffles trying to take out a sniper. This is an unpredictable scenario. Never would I think two Fleming Waffles actually want to take out a sniper and really get the opportunity to do so, but almost taken out by the AT gun over on that side of the map. Excellent positioning there with the AT guns. In fact, bearing in mind, AT guns very vulnerable to artillery fire, and really that's what the Nebels should be focusing on. As soon as you take out the AT guns, your light armor and regular armor, well, regular heavy armor, medium armor, it's just going to be so much easier. Oh god, this is why you don't blob up your infantry. Send it in waves at 2 at the very maximum. Never ever blob 3 troops up, but we did have what was it, forced retreat happen there, forcing all that infantry to retreat, just like the name suggests. And now the Grenadiers move in and isolate this squad, which isn't retreating, and they're just taking casualties. And I'm not sure if Finndu wants to retreat them, because it's his only squad on the field. He's going to be subjecting himself to advances on this side of the map on all his territory if he retreats that, and he just has to. There's just no other thing he can do other than lose the squad. That's his only choice. And now the Panzer Treks move in, and generally everything else comes in to destroy all these medic stations. That's 150 down. There's probably going to be 300 down, 450. I can count more medic stations. What the hell? Finndu really likes his medic stations. He probably should have just got other stuff. What's in his base? Not much really. I mean, it's kind of what we've already seen on the field already, just a barracks and a tank depot. But money that could have been spent on tanks, really. He does have enough manpower, he does have enough fuel. I'm not sure how many rifleman squads he's managed to accumulate through the medic stations. I do hope it was more than 750. Otherwise, he could have just got more squads out, but I think it is. But to be honest, did he really need all those medic stations? 2 medic stations probably would have been enough. We've got more artillery landing down, maybe trying to hit this Flak 36, which is a good target. That's exactly what they want to be using their artillery for. Priority targeting. Awesome. That's what the Wehrmacht should be doing. You know, AT guns, excellent target. Here's another AT gun. Here's another AT gun. Good targeting for their artillery. Either their abilities or their Nebels and then they can move their armor up. Super Silver Reloaded already on the ball with that one, taking out these medic stations, taking out some of the medics as well, but I do believe there was one final rifleman squad which managed to pop out of the medic station before the last one was destroyed. And on the map now you can just see there's almost a big huge battle going on just right down the middle of the map. Unusually though, we have two snipers here. They got detected, vet-free snipers. One sniper here, paratroopers moving up. They don't have a recoilless rifle, so they're going to have difficulty taking out that Puma. Met by grenadiers and a pack as well. The pack's not too fussed about taking out infantry. That's on alert for enemy armor, which there does not seem to be too much of because most of the money was spent on medic stations. Isn't that odd? It's calmed down mostly now. I do enjoy some silence. We can see Pioneers getting sniped. They do manage to have found themselves a recoilless rifle. Now they're going to find themselves a grave. Grave found. Recoilless rifle there for the taking. Sniper isn't going to pick it up because he would be a super hyper legit boss if he could take a sniper rifle and a recoilless rifle. But you can't do that because that's illegal in this game. That would be K-hatting. Cheating, otherwise known. Again with the blobbing up. Careful, Finndu. Spread them out. Come on, it's not hard. Spread, 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 spread. You can spread those legs, baby. Ew. No, I don't want to be saying that on Anuki TV. That's awful. Nebel's now firing on a good target. They managed to find a sniper and the rifleman squad, almost eliminating that. The sniper does go down. Finndu again wants to invest in medic stations over anything else. He has bought a vehicle somewhat recently because I saw the fuel go down. So we'll see what that is shortly when it brings it into the field. The AT gun firing on the grenadiers. The half-track not moving in because there is an AT gun there. There is no sense in losing or exposing your half-track. And these... Don't do that. Always happens. As soon as I say something, the person does the exact opposite and just defies me at every turn. Why do you do that, Melee Reloaded? Why do you defy me? Second half-track comes in. He's done pretty well to keep these alive, but they've not been terribly effective. But maybe they had some sort of psychological effect. Remember how this Flammenwaffle fires, by the way. It does have two guns on either side of the half-track, and they can fire sort of like a 45, 80 degree angle, I would say. They can't both fire directly in front of them. Or at least it's rare that it happens, and it seems a little buggy when it does. So if you can position it in a way where it can fire to stuff on the left and right, then awesome, you are doing some awesome half-track play. In fact, I remember posting on the forums recently as well that I wanted to see some awesome half-track play, and this is exactly what we've got, awesome half-track play. Right down here on the center of the map. I did mean the half-track play as in, you know, reinforcing half-tracks, not these damn flame half-tracks, but flame half-track, sure, why not? That's even better. That's just... It's like pizza and ice cream. They're so good. You should always combine them into something awesome. I don't like pizza, really. I don't really eat ice cream. So I don't know why I suggest that. Anyway, it is 314 to the Allies, 282, but the victory points are in favor of the Axis at the moment. The Allies continue to take losses, suffering some more casualties there from the paratroopers. Only two guys there with the recoilless rifles, almost dead. They need to look out because a mortar is surely going to land. That guy's slingshotted across the ground, and then mortared even more, and then disappears. Excellent positioning on the Panzer IV, by the way. It's using this building as cover so it cannot be fired upon. But bear in mind, there's an AT gun here. No, howitzer. Where's the AT gun? There was an AT gun right here. It is. There it is. There is an AT gun. If it moves out, then it can't really do anything. It's going to be hitting the side. But the AT gun right now isn't facing that direction, so he does have some breathing room. Maybe you could just go around there, snipe off these two recoilless rifle soldiers, and then take it from there. You know, always little steps. Pioneers from Melee Reloaded building a bunker on this fuel point. Looks like it's going to be a medic station because of the way it's pointing, but remember, you can still stick machine gun teams inside of it. And they can point in all sorts of directions and be super effective, and it can still operate as a medic bunker. You can see the half-track there firing directly in front of it. It's rare that happens, but it does happen. Medics trying to get some more riflemen into the medic station. One more soldier and they can do it, but we get a GG from Finndu. Ah, thank God for that, because my voice is dying. The playback is over. I do hope you've enjoyed this game. Unfortunate for Finndu and American. They have lost today's game. Game 3, I believe it is. As for Super Silver Reloaded and Melee Reloaded, congratulations on your victory on Anuki TV. We're going to go to those pesky highlights because you like highlights. Sometimes you skip to the end of the game just to see the highlights. I know you do. And, of course, my music track, which I have made, because all the music I make on Anuki TV is made by me, because it's royalty-free and I can use it. So, anyway, I will leave you with a goodbye, and we'll get another game up shortly. But for now, farewell. Ta-da!